There is no question that vestiges of racism are still a problem in the US today. The lack of police accountability and thin blue line of silence are also problems. Racism and police brutality become especially ugly when they intersect. Racism also became obvious in many Tea Party demonstrations and the birther movement after Barack Obama was elected. We must denounce such racism whenever and wherever we see it. We must also correct institutional faults that encourage or fail to discourage the bad behavior that afflicts many institutions, not just the police. An example is qualified immunity. That legal doctrine makes it almost impossible to sue a police officer or other government official for damages. As a result, the government itself and therefore the taxpayers usually pay damages. Eliminating that shield would cause police officers to think twice before brutalizing a citizen because he and his family might lose their home or his ability or his liability insurance might skyrocket. It's very difficult to convict a police officer of murder when he can claim he thought his life was threatened. And one of the reasons such prosecutions so seldom succeed is that the standard of proof in criminal trials is beyond a reasonable doubt. The standard of proof in civil trials is the preponderance of evidence. Thus, police could be effectively sued for their actions and held financially liable, even if criminally acquitted or unindicted. This would apply to Daniel Shaver, a young white man terrorized and killed by police, as well as to Breonna Taylor. So yes, there are many problems to be fixed, but we should be careful how we go about fixing them. Talleyrand famously said, "It's worse than a crime, it's a mistake." When it comes to fixing social problems, it's both a moral error, that is a crime, and a mistake to blame or scapegoat all whites, all males, or all police officers for all of society's problems, because it leads to moral outrage and backlash in individual members of targeted groups, and because it leaves some bad actors unaccountable because they are non-white or female. Scapegoating makes enemies of people who would otherwise be allies. We need to unify the working class rather than split it up into warring factions. That just empowers the elite strategy of divide and rule. Privilege is a multifaceted thing. I was privileged in that both my parents were college graduates, and I attended well-funded suburban schools with highly qualified teachers, where discipline problems were rare. Most of my peers went to college. Did I have white privilege because the only non-white student was Japanese? Actually, I think de facto segregation diminished me. Perhaps freedom from oppression is a form of privilege, but I'm not going to go to some Appalachian or Rust Belt town and lecture those people about their white privilege when their unemployment rate is over 10%. Nor should I lecture the people of Oberlin, Ohio about how they uphold white supremacy and are accountable for all the evils of slavery when Oberlin was very involved with the Underground Railway. We must acknowledge the past, all the past, both good and bad, before we can fix today's problems and build a better future. Ignoring the good in America results in nihilistic acts like defacing a monument to the Black troops of the 54th Massachusetts Volunteer Infantry or a bust of Frederick Douglass. If there's nothing worth saving, the only thing left is to destroy everything, nihilism. What will replace it? The leaders of the BLM Global Network and Antifa don't seem to be telling us, but I think the elites who are funding them and encouraging them know exactly what they want. They want to replace the Bill of Rights with a medically justified police state, a global reset to totalitarianism. I reject that. Our failure to implement and protect all the ideals embodied in the Declaration of Independence, Constitution, Bill of Rights, and Gettysburg Address does not make these documents evil instruments of white supremacy. Thank you.